Hi everyone, welcome to our Monday live stream. It's really great to see people joining in from all over the country and all over the world. And what I was just saying in the chat, if you guys are new to us here, and Camera Guy is here in the chat, so I'm glad to see him too. If you're new to us here, I just want to welcome you. I do think we have some brand new viewers on our live stream. And I was just saying in the chat, I'm usually in the chat about 15 minutes before we start. And by the way, we do live stream at Mondays at noon. If you're watching the replay, make sure you join us next Monday. But it's great to have some new viewers here. I want to welcome you. And we have so many of our friends here that join us every single week. People are getting to know each other, getting to know each other's gardens, asking about the weather, asking how is your tomato plant doing, and it's really a lot of fun. So I really encourage you to come week after week and come here early to chat it up and just have a great time. So I see California TV, Garden TV just joined us. So thank you so much, Brian, for hanging out with us today. And I know we have a viewer here from Aruba. I'm trying to scroll through, I can't remember their name, but I want to welcome you. And new viewer, I'm trying to look for your name here. But anyway, I think I accidentally shut down the live stream. So anyway, welcome. Today we're talking about some things that you can do in your garden in late July here and into August to really help your garden keep the harvest coming in. Because that's why we're doing it, to grow veggies. We want to keep those harvests coming along and to make sure that we're not running out of things to harvest in our garden. So that's what we're talking about today. And I really want to hear your ideas as well on what you're doing right now in your garden, if you're planting anything, and what's going on in your garden. So let me know if you can see me or hear me. I think I may have accidentally disconnected. So, okay, good. We're here now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, I just want to jump right in and jump right into actually, before I jump right in, I want to say a lot of you guys are harvesting right now, and that is just super exciting. So make sure that you are checking your garden. Thank you. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Make sure that you're checking your garden every day. You don't want to miss any of those precious vegetables that you're growing, because we've all worked hard to plant our vegetables back in the spring. Maybe a lot of you are getting new vegetables going right now, but you definitely do not want to be missing those harvests. So make sure that you're checking your garden every day and not letting any of your precious vegetables go to waste. Because sometimes when we forget to harvest, the pests might get them before we do. So you might even want to grab some of your tomatoes before they're all the way ripe, because I don't know about you guys, but the rats seem to know exactly the day the tomatoes turn ripe, and then they tend to head out there and just take a chomp. I lost several tomatoes actually last week due to rats. So you know what I'm gonna be doing tonight is out there setting some rat traps to try and catch them, because I don't want them getting any of my harvest. So let's jump right into the first thing to do that I like to do anyway right now to really keep the harvest coming in. And that is to really work at managing pests and diseases and the heat damage. I know a lot of you all are experiencing the heat waves that have been sweeping across the US. This time of the year is when a lot of the disease tends to come in. If you've had a lot of rain, you might be getting some powdery mildew, you might be getting some blight on your tomatoes. And those types of the pests might be coming in. So really be vigilant and working to manage the pests and the diseases, and heading out to your garden and clipping off some of the dry leaves that maybe might have happened during the heat. Keeping your plants covered. If it's over 90 degrees, you can use shade cloth to cover your plants. But now's the time to do that, because it's a whole lot easier to manage the disease before it happens than to go back later and clean up all the mess. So usually disease at some point is inevitable in the garden, so don't get too terribly upset about it. Just get in there, trim off the diseased leaves, and make sure you are spraying your garden with the peppermint neem oil spray. Now, I've got videos on how to do that, but it's a great way to, the neem oil really helps disrupt the life cycle of some of those things like aphids, the little crazy inchworms that like to chew on your kale, which I want to show you guys. This kale here that I planted in my little Calikim 5-gallon smart pots here, is just getting chowed on. Tons of holes in the leaves. And even the large container I planted a few weeks ago on the heat tolerant video, I went out this morning and checked it, and I think you guys might have seen on the garden tour, big, huge green cabbage loopers. So let me know here in the chat if you're having problems with that. Seems to be a lot worse this year. I'm not sure if it's because of the heat, all the rain we've had. So I went through and just pruned everything and sprayed it down with peppermint oil. And I see we just got a super chat. Oh, Courtney, thank you so much, from Courtney Renegare. Thanks for all the great information. Courtney, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for being here, for supporting us by watching, and with this super chat. So camera guy and I really appreciate it. So yeah, so get out there, check out my video on organic pest control if you haven't already. Make sure you're spraying. And a little note on the peppermint oil, I was actually just made aware that if it is ingested, the straight peppermint oil anyway, by cats, it can be toxic. So make sure you're doing research as well. If you have pets around, if you have kids around, try and keep that stuff, you know, the full strength, out of reach of your pets and your kids, because I'm sure a lot of things that we put on our garden, you know, could be harmful if they're ingested directly. So make sure you're really being careful with that. So anyway, manage the first thing to do now during July and August is make sure that you're managing the disease. Make sure you're managing the pests, preventing them whenever possible, and taking care of any big issues that might arise, and trim off any damages that you've had from the heat. So let me hear in the chat here how things are going in your garden, if you're getting disease coming in, if you're getting pests coming in, and what you're doing about it. So let me just scroll through the chat and check things out. Nisha, who is up in Northern California, is having a lot of whiteflies and cabbage loopers. Okay, Nisha, I'm really sorry about that, but I'm glad I'm not alone in things getting chowed down. So I don't know if you've tried the peppermint oil or the neem oil, or even just head out and make sure that you're spraying the plants down with water. Sometimes that can really knock the bugs off, and that's enough to take care of it, and you don't really have to do anything else. And aphids, yes, definitely. They seem to be definitely much worse this year. My Teas, hi, how are you today? How should I manage caterpillars in my kale? Okay, go back and check out the video I just mentioned. It's going to be in the live stream once it uploads to YouTube. It's called Organic Pest Control, and there's some organic things like peppermint and neem oil that you can spray to really help that. But you definitely do need to be vigilant. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting my words out today. To be vigilant and diligent, that's what I meant. And make sure you're checking your garden daily so things don't get out of hand. Okay, let's see here. Yes, those cabbage loopers do seem to be pretty persistent. So that's why you do need to really keep on top of it. Patsella, great tip here. Use Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap mixed with the neem oil, and it's worked well for me. Yeah, that's a great natural soap to use. Not quite as strong as some of the other soaps. And actually, I think in the video I mentioned using Dawn dish soap, but the natural soaps are, I'm using those now, and they really do seem to, number one, they're a lot more natural than the Dawn, and they really do seem to work well. So give those natural soaps a try. I know there are some really good, Target has a really good natural brand now. I forget the name of it, but they've got some great ones at Target as well. So check that out the next time you head to Target. Okay, here is a great reminder, Leventree. I forgot to mention this, so thank you so much. Just a reminder to everyone, pay attention to your temperature when you spray neem oil. Above 90 degrees is too hot to spray, yes. And now Leventree says, I personally spray in the night so it doesn't hurt my plants. And I do mention that in the video. Make sure you're spraying in the evening, not in the heat of the day, or in the very early morning before it gets too hot. You don't want to go out and spray it at high noon when it's super hot. You'll burn your plants, and a lot of the pollinators are around at that time too, and you don't want to spray them and do any damage there. So definitely make sure that you're spraying early in the morning or in the evening. Okay, let's see here if there are any more questions here about spraying. Cheryl, yes, definitely need to repeat the neem oil and soap spray. That's really the key with the organic methods of pest control, is make sure you're doing it on a schedule. So if you just are trying to do a preventative thing, just spray like once a week or so. But if you have a problem, get in there and spray every 3 or 4 days, because that's what really helps disrupt the life cycle. When you're spraying with the neem oil, that really helps disrupt the life cycle. And about every 3 days is when is about as long as their life cycle. And the peppermint oil really helps mask the scent of the plants, so that the pests don't smell your tomato plants or your pepper plants or whatever the case might be. So yeah, regularity with organic methods is definitely the key. And we have another super chat here from Brandon Rowley. Thank you so much, Brandon, for the $1 super chat. I do appreciate you joining me here on the live stream, and I really appreciate you supporting us through the super chat. Okay, Pam is having leaf miners on the radishes. Those are actually really hard to get rid of, because they get in there in the leaves and they're inside of the leaves. So they're tough to take care of unless you catch them right when they lay the egg. So if anybody has any great ideas for getting the cabbage, or not the cabbage loopers, the leaf miners away, I would love to hear about that, because usually what I do is just trim the leaves off that I see damage on. So let us know here if you've had any success with the leaf miners. Okay, let me move on to the next tip, and then we'll head back to the chat and answer some more questions. Okay, second thing to really help to do right now to really help keep the harvest coming in is about this time. It's a really great time to give your garden a summer boost. So if you watched a video, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I did a video on kind of a midsummer, what to do in your garden midsummer, like give your plants a boost. Now is a perfect time to go around and put a little handful of compost at the bottom of your plants. You can use worm castings, you can use worm tea, the Good Dirt plant food I really love. I've used all that stuff for a lot of years, and I really love how it just, at this time of the season, just picks the plants up, just gives them a little boost, and really helps keep them producing, especially if you are pruning your plants because of damage. If you're pruning off, like I went through and pruned off a bunch of my cucumber plants last week because they were really damaged from the heat. So I right away gave them a dose of the Good Dirt plant food, which is higher in nitrogen. So it helped them reproduce and grow more leaves. And I already have noticed a difference. Just about maybe 5 days ago is when I did that. And I'm already seeing some great new growth, even in the heat. And I had everything shaded last week because of the heat, but I uncovered this morning, it was a little bit cooler, and I saw a lot of new growth, so that was great. So definitely go around, and if you see your plants lagging a little bit in production, give them a boost, whatever you have on hand. I like to use a water-soluble fertilizer, which means it dissolves in water and it's immediately available to your plants, because that just really gives them a little kick and helps get them producing. And I did already see a whole bunch of new cucumbers on my cucumber plants, so I was pretty excited about that. And even on my tomatoes, I did that to a couple of them, and they've got some new blossoms even in spite of the heat. In fact, my beefsteak competition tomato, you guys might have seen Gary do his harvest. He's already harvested, it was over 2 pounds, I think. So things are running a little bit behind here. So it doesn't look like real good for me winning the competition, but my tomato is definitely growing, and I'll try and show you that pretty soon, either on a video or maybe on Instagram. Oh, another live stream. See, I told you I'm having problems getting my words out today. Another super chat from Irene Torres. Hi, Irene. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. It's great to have you here. And we're just having all kinds of fun today, talking about gardening here in July and August. Okay, the Naked Gardener says a lot of my plants were damaged by spider mites. Okay, those spider mites are crazy, aren't they? They tend to come in when it gets really hot and dry. And I don't know where you're gardening from. I'm sorry, I don't remember. So here in California, I did notice after the hot, dry weather of last week, a couple of my eggplants are really getting those spider mite damage on it, which I don't know if I have anything right here that has spider mite damage, but it tends to look like almost little teeny tiny dots all over your plants. Sometimes there's webs covering the leaves, and that is spider mite damage. So yeah, get in there, spray if you can before it happens. If you do see that kind of damage, prune off the leaves, give them a good dose, like I just talked about, the summer boost, and you'll be growing new leaves before you know it, and hopefully getting some new veggies. So first thing to do here in July and August in your garden to keep those harvests coming is to really pay attention, manage the heat damage, manage the pests and the disease. Second thing is give your plants a good summer boost, fertilize things all across the board. And as far as fertilizing goes, make sure you're paying a special attention to your containers and giving them a little dose of fertilizer every week to 10 days. Your in-ground garden, you can usually go about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on if you're getting a lot of rain or what the temperatures are like. So you can check the video description for discounts on some of the things that I mentioned if you're looking for those, or you can also check at your local garden center. But the products I mentioned, I use, I love, I know they work, so you can't go wrong with those. Okay, let's see that in the chat here if there's any questions on the summer boost. I would love to hear what you guys are using in your garden, what's working for you, and if you're fertilizing right now too. Okay, questions here. Still time to grow carrots in zone 5B. Actually, we're going to be talking about that in our next tip. So hang on there, Nakano. We'll be talking about what you can grow right now. Okay, let's see here. Questions. Sprayed last night with 7. Okay, I know a lot of people do use 7 for bugs and things like that. Fish emulsion. And from Pam, I use fish emulsion for my plants. Wondering if I should rotate that with a different fertilizer. Is that enough? Containers with worm castings and soil. Okay, I've used fish emulsion too. I still use it periodically in my garden. I like to save the higher nitrogen fertilizers like fish emulsion and the Good Dirt plant food for when you really want to see some good leafy growth. If you want to vary it, you can. I don't think you necessarily need to, but those are fertilizers that really bring about the leafy growth after you've pruned. So after I prune all my holy kale leaves today, I will be adding some of the Good Dirt plant food, or you could use fish emulsion too. That's usually available at most garden centers. So the only thing with that is it smells terrible, and sometimes it does attract some unwanted critters in your garden. So just be careful with that. Okay, Joe Campbell, question. What can you do if your tomatoes are ripening too early? They are small but turning red. Okay, if they're a variety that's supposed to be a larger variety and they're turning red, hang on, they're probably not gonna get a lot larger before they ripen up, but what you could do is go ahead and harvest everything that is ripe or turning ripe. Excuse me. You can ripen the ones that aren't quite ready in a paper sack, and then maybe give that plant a good dose of some fertilizer to give them a little boost, just to help the plants grow a little bit larger, help the fruit grow a little bit larger. Any of the fertilizers I just mentioned are great. Add some compost around the base of your plants, but again, give them that boost to really keep those harvests coming and to help your tomatoes size up. And it could just be, I know if you're here in California, we haven't had a super sunny summer. It's really just gotten sunny in the past month. So without a lot of sunshine, my plants aren't going to get as large and my fruit won't get as large as it would if they were in full sun. So the weather also has a lot to do with it. So just be patient, hang in there, give them a boost, and hopefully things will be sizing up for you pretty soon. Okay, let me take another question here and then we'll go and talk about our third tip. Okay, Piano Master 44. Hi, I enjoy these lives so much. Great, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm glad that you're here. Is aloe diluted in water good for plants? I heard that it strengthens the stems and rejects bugs. Are there any other benefits? I do not have any experience with that. I've never used aloe on any of my plants. So if there's any viewers out there who have and could answer his question, please comment in the chat. It is so amazing to learn new things every single day. I mean, I haven't done everything in gardening, so I don't know everything in gardening, but a lot of you out there have, and together we can make a difference as a community. And another super chat here. Wow, you guys are so sweet. This is from Brandon Rowley. Hi, Brandon. It's great to have you on here today. And Brandon super chatted $2. Hi, Kim, and keep up the good work. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's always encouraging to get feedback. Jerry and I love to hear feedback on what you guys are getting out of our videos. It really does help motivate us. So thank you when you take the time to comment on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Make sure you're following us on all of those. Callie Camera Guy on Instagram posts some great behind the scenes things, but it does really motivate us to read your comments. And we don't always have a chance to get back to every single one of them. I really wish that I could, but we do read every single one of them. So thank you so much, Brandon. I really appreciate that. Okay, question here from Our Family Garden, and I don't remember taking a question from you before, so I'm so glad you're here today. Rats have eaten my corn, tomatoes, and melons. Wow, that is so frustrating. Rabbits keep eating my bean leaves, Swiss chard leaves, and pepper leaves. What can I do? Oh my goodness. Rats are always a problem for us, and we use this rat traps to help out with that. So that's really the only way I know to help, besides get a cat possibly. So if you could do that, a lot of people recommend to us to get a cat, but we are just not cat people. But if you are a cat person, that definitely might help out with that. The other thing that I have done before too is if I have a particular tomato plant that I really want to protect, there are some things you can do to protect the individual tomatoes. You could cut up pieces of t-shirt and kind of wrap the tomatoes in them. That does seem to help keep the rats away. Or if you have those little carry-out containers, you could kind of put those around the tomatoes. It's hard to do that to all your tomatoes, but if you have a special tomato plant that might help protect it, anything you could kind of wrap around the plant to help. But sometimes those rats do tend to work their way in. I know that is very, very frustrating. So if you're having a problem with that, maybe we can throw out some support here to really help get through that, because I lose stuff to rats every single year, and it's always such a bummer. Okay, Naked Gardener, go for it. You got a cat and you're not cat people. Way to go. Okay, Elsa Lowitz, what are your best tips for keeping your garden healthy while you're on vacation? Okay, you know what? We actually were just gone for about 5 days. And before we left, I made sure that everything was hooked up to drip irrigation. If you live somewhere where you don't get rain, that's a definite lifesaver. And before I left, I just trimmed everything up. I made sure everything was set to go on a timer, so it all got watered while we were away. We didn't have anybody checking on the garden. I did go through, I believe I went through and fertilized just about everything before we left, and kind of sprayed everything down to make sure all the bugs were washed off. And actually when we came back, everything looked really good. So if you can just make sure that it's well cared for while you're away, if at all possible, set everything up on automatic, and hopefully everything will go well. If you have someone that can check in on it for you, that's always a good idea too, but I know that's not always possible. Okay, let me share our last tip here for keeping your garden. Having things harvesting in your garden, things you can do right now to keep those harvests coming. Excuse me, guys. It is a little bit cooler today, but I think it's still close to 90 degrees. So it's pretty hot. I'm getting sweaty out here. Had to get a drink. Okay, third thing is, a lot of people think that because it is July and almost August this week, can you guys believe it, that you can't start more plants. And I want to tell you guys, that's the biggest myth in gardening ever. The third thing to do now is start more seeds, okay? So you can start seeds now just about anywhere of some quick growing vegetables for a late summer harvest or even a fall harvest. And the reason why you want to do this is because a lot of the vegetables you started back in the spring are probably kind of coming to the end. So you want to start a whole new round, a whole new wave of veggies, so you're not without harvest in about 6 weeks. So you guys might have seen this on the garden tour we posted on Friday, but I've definitely been getting ready for this. I've got about 3 trays that look similar to this one here of some veggies that we're gonna be planning up this weekend, and we will be doing a video on it. So make sure you're tuning in this weekend. But these are all veggies that produce really fast. So we've got some chard here, which is a great heat tolerant green. We've got some basil. Let's see if you guys can see the basil. Right here, is that the basil? No, those are the tomatoes. There's basil down in here. And I did start some brand new tomatoes. These are the Tiny Tim tomatoes. So they produce really fast. In about 60 days, you'll be having Tiny Tim tomatoes. Oh, here's the basil over here. Okay, there we go. And then I also started some cucumbers, a whole new round of cucumbers, because that's one of my very favorite things. And they grow super fast in about 6 weeks. So think about it now, it's July, almost August, like mid-September, and a lot of people are still warm then, you could be harvesting a whole fresh new round of cucumbers, tomatoes, and greens. So definitely get some new seeds going. And yes, I see your question there, SK. Oh, SK is a new viewer. Welcome so much. These were started, I did not start them indoors. A lot of times I do start them inside, but I just put them right out here on my deck and started them in the sunlight, and they grew wonderful. These were started on July 11th. So that was about 3 weeks ago, and I did kind of move them into the shade during the hot times of the day when we had those 100-degree temperatures. But they are doing wonderful. They've been outside here all morning because it's just in the high 80s, which is perfect. It saves you the step of hardening them off if you just get them started outside. It makes it so easy. So seriously, guys, get these going now. You're gonna be so happy in about a month when your cucumbers are dying out and you've got some new ones coming on and some new beautiful heat tolerant chard coming on. For those of you who live in the hot areas like I do, or in Texas or in Florida, get them going. Now, I did put together a late summer garden seed collection. I know a lot of you guys have already picked that up, but I designed it especially with you guys in mind and because I wanted some late summer gardens as well. So you can pick that up on my website. It's called the Late Summer Garden Seed Collection. And it's got, I think, about 7 varieties in it. So grab one of those if you don't have seeds and get some stuff going. It's so easy. And you will be so happy that you have things to harvest in about a month. Oh, I saw a super chat, and then I have one more thing to talk about the seeds. Let me see if I can get to the super chat here. Oh, this is from Luz. Luz, you are so sweet. How nice. Thanks for your videos. I've gone back to your channel and love how easy it is to find what I'm looking for. How long before a clone tomato produces? Luz, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's always good to go back and watch past videos. There's lots of information on our channel. And we do try to organize things by playlist, so they are easy to find. So thank you, Luz. I really appreciate that. Okay, the clone tomato, I do have one producing now, and it pretty much takes, like from the time you transplant it, it should pretty much take the same amount of time as any other tomato. So, you know, once you transplant a tomato, it's usually about 60 to 90 days, depending on the variety. So hopefully with some good weather, you should be seeing some production very soon. Okay, so what else I wanted to say is, besides planting things for late summer garden, a lot of you are also coming into cooler weather in September and October. So if you live, you know, in a northern area where you're going to be getting cool nights in September, October, get your fall seeds started. And you're gonna save yourself a lot of time if you start your fall seeds right now in July and in August. It's probably a little too hot to start them outside, so you may wanna start them indoors under grow lights. And that way, when it comes mid-September, you're gonna have transplants to put into your garden. Cool weather vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all those wonderful things that grow in the cooler weather. Get some going now, and that way you can get them good and established, because once they're established, most of them will take a frost. So that's a huge advantage. So not too early, get some going, and let me know here in the chat if you're already starting with your fall garden seeds. And I do also have a fall garden seed collection. It's got, I think, 15 varieties, pretty much any cool weather vegetable that you could want to grow. You can get your cool weather veggies started, and I'm actually going to be starting a whole flat of cool weather vegetables. It's still a little bit early for California, but I like to start them so that I can help you guys out with your fall garden too. So you can grab one of those at CaliKimGardenHome.com. And if you're like me and all your garden beds are full, why not go for a container. Now, this container here, you could start some stuff directly in something like this. It's a small little 5-gallon. You can grab these on my website too. But these are little beans, guys. I just started these, I want to say about 5 days ago, and they're already coming up. So you can see how beautiful they look, and we'll be eating these probably in September. So think ahead just a little bit with a little bit of planning. Pick a couple things that you want to keep going, and don't get yourself overwhelmed, but just keep it simple. That's the best thing you could do. Keep it simple and just keep on getting those harvests coming. Okay, the chat is flying by. I know there's a lot of questions out there, so we've got a little bit of time left. We can get into the chat here and answer as many questions as we can in the next few minutes. Let me know if any of you guys are doing any of these things to keep your harvest coming right now in July. If you're starting new seeds, if you're giving your plants a summer boost, and if you're really working the pest and heat and all the damage control in your garden. Okay, oh, I see Jeff here. Hi Jeff, how's it going? I've been really enjoying the pictures of your rolling garden out there in Palm Desert. So he's doing a great job gardening in the heat. You want to check out his Instagram. I think it's the Rolling Garden Guy. He's got a lot of great pictures on there. Okay, greetings from hot and sunny Coachella Valley. Wow, I know it is super hot out there. Daniel Sandoval, thank you so much for joining me. What are you growing out there right now? Hopefully you're able to grow something. Tamika Smith, all started. That's great. Getting ready to order your seed collection. That's great, Tamika. Glad to hear that. Let me know if you're planting fall veggies or the late summer veggies. Okay, let's see here. Darlene's Garden Channel. Hi, Darlene. My plants seem to always be small and late. A week or so, we had a very big temperature swing, 39 at night. Oh my gosh. And high 90s in the daytime. That is a huge temperature swing, and that definitely does affect the plants. The warm weather vegetables love temperatures, nighttime temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and that's a huge temperature swing. So I don't know if there's any way that you can possibly cover your plants during the day with the shade cloth and maybe uncover them. Well, actually, gosh, you might even need to cover them at night with that kind of thing going on. But hopefully that doesn't last for too long. But the weather definitely will affect your plants, so just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see here. Mike, hi Mike, wanted to say thanks for all of the gardening knowledge you share with us from Zone 5A. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement, Mike, and you are welcome. We love to share here on our channel, and I'm really glad that you're getting a lot out of it. Okay, Irene, hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining us here. You're here almost every week. Hi Kim, why do I have ants on my watermelon plant, and how do you get rid of them? Okay, as far as why you have them, it's just part of growing in the garden. I saw a lot of ants actually out in my garden today. The problem with the ants is some ants do eat plants depending on the type of ant that you have, but usually the ants and the aphids go together, so that's usually where the problem comes in. You can, I think I do have a video on this too. You can search the channel for ant traps, I think maybe, but you can make little DIY ant traps with borax and sugar, and I don't remember the exact proportions, but just go in and search my channel and a video should pop up, and you just put them in you can put them in like little lids or make little aluminum foil trays and set them in your garden, and then the ants go to the little bait station there, and then you can just toss those out. Okay, let's see here. Did I miss another super chat, or was that? Oh my goodness, it's hard to see. Oh, here we are. Oh my gosh, Vivi's garden. Hi, Vivi. Wow, thank you. We started our fall garden. I love your channel. Vivi, thank you so much for letting me know and for the $2 super chat. It's always exciting to start your fall garden. It's nice to think about the new variety of vegetables coming in. Here in the heat of the summer, a lot of people are getting sick of the humongous heat waves we've been having. In fact, I was just talking to our moderator, Everything Sunflowers and More. She lives in Florida, and she was just saying how it's so hot there that she's really looking forward to the cooler temperatures of fall. So you might be in the same boat there. So thank you so much, Vivi, for the super chat. We really appreciate it, and good luck with your fall garden. And I see Garden Obsessions is on here. Hi, how are you? How did your move go? I hope everything's going well and you're getting settled and hopefully getting your garden established. It's great to see you back on here. Okay, from Anzus Musa. What can we plant in 40 degrees Celsius in KSA? I'm not sure where that's at, but I think 40 degrees, maybe about 90. I'm not sure, 90 Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot, but you can definitely plant some heat tolerant greens. I know lettuce doesn't do too well in 90-degree temps, but if you can get some of the kale going, I actually been harvesting this kale right back here, so I'm waiting for it to regrow. The kale does great in hot temperatures, so get it established, get it outside. You might want to start, if it's that hot, you might want to start your seeds possibly indoors to get it good and established, and then you can cover it with a little bit of shade cloth while it gets established outside. But once it's established, it's going to do great in the heat. You can plant chard, even little tiny Tim tomatoes. I just got to show you guys these here. These I planted, you grab this, little smart pots. And these actually do really well in the heat too. And we'll be harvesting these, I want to say maybe in a month to 6 weeks. They're still kind of small. So whatever you do, just get something planted, whether you're growing inside or outside. Okay, let's see here. I see all kinds of things flying by. Zucchini, yes, lose. Yeah, how could I forget zucchini? Zucchini does great in the heat. I never cover my squash, no matter how hot it gets, and it just keeps on going. So zucchini and pretty much any type of squash does really, really well in the heat. Christy, thank you so much for mentioning about my new book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. It is available for pre-sale. The pre-sales are going great. Congratulations to everyone who won the pre-sale giveaway last week. All of you have received emails. I shipped out everyone's free seeds. If you were one of the first 15 people last week, you got free seeds, and Smart Pots will be sending you a 10-gallon container. So I appreciate all the support with the pre-sales. It's still going really well. It's still on a couple of the bestseller lists on Amazon. So we just couldn't be more thrilled. You can order that on my website, CallieKimGardenHome.com. Okay. Freedom USA, Smart Pots handles the heat really well because the fabric breathes. So you're absolutely right. The plastic containers, things just kind of get real hot in there. And I see a super chat here from Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. That is so sweet. A $2 super chat, and you are here every single week, and it just means the world to us to have your support. You're always posting positive comments, and you're always in the chat early, talking, asking people how their gardens are doing, and it's always great to see you on here. So thank you so much. Okay, Jamie Cruz. Hi, Callie Kim. Hi, Mary. I'm from the Philippines with summer and rainy season only. Okay. Again, try those heat tolerant greens, Mary, that I just mentioned. You can check out the heat tolerant green seed collection if you need some ideas. That's on my website. It's got, I think, 5 or 6 varieties of things that do well in the heat. So you can check those varieties and see if you can get any of those locally. Okay, starting new greens. Angela, that is a great way to go is to get those greens growing, because you don't ever want to be without those fresh salads, right? Okay, so Patricia, I don't know if it was $5 or $2, but whatever it is, thank you so much for the super chat. That's really great. Okay, let's see here. Boldly Grow Homestead, any vine borer tips? And before I answer that question, the super chats are flying by here today. This is really great, guys. From Israelowitz, I'm so sorry if I butchered your name there, but $1 super chat. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Let's see here. Vine borer tips from Boldly Grow Homestead. Okay, we don't have vine borers here in California. But from what I understand from people who do, you can use a insect dust. We actually just did some videos with Gary from the Rustic Garden in Maryland, and he mentioned that in some of our collab videos. There is some organic insect dust out there. I think one of them is called Captain Jack's, that you can sprinkle on your plants like in the evening. The insects do crawl over them, and then you can go out in the morning and wash them off so that other good insects are not damaged by the dust. So you might want to check into that. Go back and check some of our videos. I think we did one on trellis. Oh gosh, I don't remember. But look for Captain Jack's. It's on Amazon, and that will really help. Okay, I'm sorry I missed your question there. This from the super chat, Isra. If you are dealing with blight, how aggressively should you prune things like tomatoes and zucchini? Do you recommend neem and baking soda spray or something else? Okay, for blight, yes, I pretty much, we don't get a ton of blight here. But when I do see any discolored leaves, I just prune them off right away because it does tend to spread very, very quickly. I haven't used the baking soda spray a whole lot. I know some people do that, but because we don't have a big blight problem, I haven't really had a need to do that. So you may want to go and watch some other videos on YouTube. Look that up. I know a lot of people do have success with that, but definitely anytime I see the powdery mildew on the zucchini, that gets pruned off right away. For powdery mildew, I like to do a milk and water spray, and I've got a video on how to do that. You can just look up powdery mildew, and that seems to work really, really well. Okay, thanks, Isra Lowitz. Again, so sorry I'm not doing your name very well. Okay, Patsella, great. She says Patsella's use Captain Jack's dead bug powder. I use it, it works well. Just be careful not to sprinkle it around the flowers. Okay, great advice, Patsella, great feedback. And I always recommend do a test spray, do a test sprinkle if you're using the insect dust. Whatever you're using in your garden, make sure you're testing it first on just a few plants, very important. And always make sure that, again, if you have pets around, that you're researching on that, making sure that it's not going to be toxic to your animals, because of course we don't want to do anything that would damage our animals. Okay, guys. Oh, Camera Guy is mentioning here to make sure that you follow us on Instagram. Cali Camera Guy. Camera Guy is my husband Jerry, who films all the videos and does a lot of the editing, or all of the editing actually. Who am I fooling? He does all of the editing. He does a great job. He posts a lot of behind the scenes stuff. He also works at a movie studio, so he posts really fun pictures from different movie studios around town. And I'm CaliKim29 on Instagram. Make sure you you follow us over there for kind of what we're doing in the garden every day. So this has been a ton of fun. Really appreciate you guys being here. Join us next Monday, noon Pacific time, for another live stream, and we have a couple new videos coming out this week as well. So thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.